Welcome to today's presentation. Today's presentation is being done by myself, Isaac Westbrooks, and Stephen Walker. It's part of our skills acquisition module for the sports management and coaching course. We were tasked with reading a report and giving a presentation on the differences between blocked, random and systematically increasing training schedules in regards to dart throwing. The presentation is going to begin with a short video, and then Stephen's going to give you an overview of what the whole presentation will involve. So just a little background into the report. The report involved 45 male individuals split into groups of 15. Each group was tasked with either training in blocked, random or systematically increasing the training to then gather results and analyze the findings. So we'll just start the presentation with a short video.
Right guys, so as Isaac has already said, my name is Stephen. I was part of the project here with Isaac, and just a quick overview of what we're going to find in here. So as Isaac has already said, the background of the study had 15 males of 3 groups. No females was in the study at all. Just on what is contextual interference. So does anybody know what contextual interference is? Okay guys, so contextual interference is basically the difficulties that you're having within the environment. So basically, if you're training and you're doing repetitive things, it's not going to set you up going forward for competitions. So blocked and random practices. So blocked is basically, as I said, you're just doing the same thing over and over again, and then random, then it's all different sort, just to increase your skill levels and to be able to problem solve in the middle of competition when the pressure's on, you know. And systematic increase of contextual interference. So that's just basically the harder or the more skilled the athlete, the more difficult the session must be for that athlete. And then at the end, we will go through the results at the end. So again, just as I add a quick word there, that's contextual interference. This is the, if you will, the academic explanation. So it says it describes the action that results from practicing various tasks within the context of a single practice situation. So as I said, it's just basically saying, it just basically describes your action of what you're doing. So a dart player continually just throwing at the treble 20, never going for doubles. That's not going to help him.
So just moving forward, we'll look at contextual interference in a bit more detail. It was first employed by Batig back in 1977 as a way of verbal learning, and then moving on from there in 1982, Shea and Morgan introduced it as a way and a means of developing motor skills through learning. So then just moving on from there, there was a lot of studies on contextual interference and its influences, and over the years basically there's just been conflicting results. Some people believe that blocked practice is better than random practice, some believe that random is better than blocked, but there's been no concrete findings or results saying that one is exclusively better than the other. So that's again just people fighting over the results. Next is desirable difficulties. This is what Stephen kind of touched on in terms of making your practice situation very similar to what you would experience in competition. You see the picture here of some Marines, and they would be a great example of introducing and implementing desired difficulties into their training, so that when they get into situations, live situations, competition situations, for them it would be military battle situations, they are prepared for every situation that they're faced with. And we want to try and then duplicate that in our practices for sports in competition. We want to put our athletes into difficult situations and environments that they may find themselves in that are different than they usually would within practice. So again, that comes with the desired difficulties and the contextual interference of practice.
And just as I said there, Phil Taylor would probably be the best known example of this. He dominated darts for over 25 years and he's still in the top 4 in the world today at 58 years of age. You know, his way is practice, practice, practice all the time. I suppose that's why he's the best ever, you know. And this is just a quick video we have that's going to have a quick run through, as Isaac said, just talking about that there. And
so as you've seen from watching the video, again, it was based on golf. Our report was based on darts, but the overlap of what was talked about is consistent with both sports and almost all sports in general, regarding blocked versus random practice. The blocked practice is very good for skill retention and building confidence in your ability to complete a simple task. But unfortunately, with the blocked practice, you're forced to really dumb things down. Things are done in a very simple manner. You get to work on form and skill acquisition, but you're not really put into realistic competition settings. So, for example, if you took basketball and put some block practice into basketball, standing still, shooting free throws only happens maybe 2 or 3 times a game, whereas for the rest of the time you're going to be running around, moving, there's going to be defenders. So block practice, although it has its benefits, is also very limited in its ability. So Stephen's just going to talk to you a little bit more about random practice and the benefits of that.
Yeah, so random practice. As Isaac was saying there, the block practice is excellent for retention. So with block practice, can anyone tell me what random practice will help improve? Okay, no one? Okay, don't worry about that, guys. So basically, random practice is what gets you set up for competition, or for your, you know, you're in your final, as Isaac was talking about in basketball. Isaac's team this year won the final with their random practice, you know. So basically, it has you set up for all pressure situations. It leaves you just ready to win, ready for all and any major things that can happen, like positive or negative effects. Basically, it just sets the athlete or the team up ready. You know, they're lacking in nothing and they have it all ready to go. You know, it's just for with darts, maybe you stand on the line and they're throwing the darts, but then you might drop it back from 7 foot to 9 foot. You know, that's one way that they would do it. You know. So I'm just going on next. This is basically the blocked, the systematic, the random. You learn the skill, you practice the skill, you improve the skill.
So the results of the report in regard to the darts showed very little variability between the blocked and random practices and in their groups. I'll also just say that none of the athletes involved in the study had any previous experience throwing darts, so everybody started it from the same baseline level. And with that then, the results showed that the blocked and random practices, the improvements of the players or athletes was very similar. And then also with the systematically increasing training schedules showed a slight improvement. Systematically increasing training showed the greatest improvements over time, proving that increasing the difficulty of training over time showed that greatest results, as Stephen touched on earlier.
Thanks for listening, guys. Any questions?
Thank you very much.